Welcome to another Barbershop history featuring our good friend Bob Spong. This is specially recorded in his home due to technical difficulties. Bob, take it away.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to give my barbershop story. I've been a barbershopper for 62 years, and I'm forever grateful. I've been in 3 quartets during that time, and so I'd like to tell you a little about each one of those. I'd like to tell you about my entire 62 years with the Commodore chapter, and then give you an idea of what the Happiness Emporium went through for our quest for gold. My first quartet was during college days. When I was at McAllister College for 4 years, I spent with a par 4 quartet. We had a lot of fun during those years. We were the official Winter Carnival quartet for St. Paul. And many of you may know John Charn was in that group. He was our bass. He later sang with the Jubilaires, and they were district champions. Chick Chernum was also in the quartet. He's a cousin of Tom Chernholm, who many of you may know. And Art Olson was our lead. So that fixed out that quartet. Just to be a barbershopper, I'm forever thankful. So then in '56, and when I was starting grad school, John Hanson of the Hut 4 called me and said, "We need a tenor. Would you like to sing?" Well, why not? So I joined Bob Dykstra, John Hanson, and Don Sunt, and for 17 years, had a great time with the Hut 4. During that time, we were Land Lakes district champions in 1958. We entered the International Convention contest for 10 different years, and 11th place was our highest that we got there. Just a couple of ideas on some shows that we sang around the country. We were at the Pasadena show one year, and on the show was the Buffalo Bills. They headlined, and a couple of medalist quartets. The Osmond brothers were even on the show with Donnie. Donnie Osmond was a younger brother, about 5 years old. He got up and he wasn't in the quartet, but he was gonna be, and he sang a song and just belted it out. We were also invited to sing the 2 USO tours to the Far East, in Okinawa, Guam, Philippines, Japan, in 1968 and 1970. Those were quite the times. It was a hospital tour that we had during the Vietnam War. And remember, we sang about 60-some shows in the 17 days we were there. So it was on the go all the time. Just to be a barbershopper, I am very, very thankful.
Yes, indeed.
And I must say, during that time with the Hut 4, I took, I had a little diary of our shows and so on. In an 8-year span there, it showed that we sang 453 shows, which gave us, those are all paid shows, and which gave us an average of about 57 a year. So that just kind of, the Hut 4 is also in the Hall of Fame of Land Lakes District. There's only one other quartet doing that, and that's the Schmidt brothers. So let me talk a little bit about the Commodores and some of the activities that I had there. 62 years a member with the Commodores, very active in the 60s and 70s, and had many offices in the show, in the chapter, including president and Barbershopper of the Year. The actual show that I chaired was the Tunes in Tunerville. Some of you may remember that show. We packed, for all those shows that the Commodores did, they just packed Northrop Auditorium, which was 4,400 seats in that auditorium. I directed the chorus here for the Commodores for about 6 years, a few different times. The highest that we got when I was directing was 4th place, international. My education was primarily in music. And after grad school, I did direct high school music for 9 years. And then in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, I directed a church choir for 28 years. I also had the fortune to direct the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. Went out there for a week and rehearsed the choir, and then on a Sunday for international TV, we sang 5 numbers. So that was quite a hoot. Well, not really a hoot, but a lot of fun. During the 60s, Bob Johnson, who was the music guy for our society, invited 12 men of the society for a week to come to headquarters and help in writing chorus director's manual. I was very fortunate to be invited as one of those, and had a great time there. And I remember one of the fellows was Freddie King. Many of you may know who that guy is. He's a funny man, and he was there, and we had a great time. Just to be a barbershopper is something that I'm very, very grateful. Now, the Happiness Emporium started in 72. That was just the year that the HUD-4 had broken up, mid-72. And I remember going to an international there, 72, and Rod Johnson from Rochester and I were just kind of woodshedding in the lobby of the hotel for quite some time, and he liked my voice, I liked his voice, and we thought that even though he was in Rochester, he was about to move to Minneapolis with IBM, and so we talked about forming a quartet. So later, a few months later, I decided that there's a freak tenor over in St. Paul that we should try and get Bob Dalma. Well, he was singing with the Night Owls, so that was not an easy thing. But he talked to his quartet, and he said that was the toughest thing he's ever had to do to get out of that quartet. And we found Jim Foy, who fit right in. So in late 72, the Happiness Emporium started their quest for gold. So the quartet started then in late 72, and I sang with them for 12 years. And we had quite a time. We were district champions in 73. We decided to try and find a good coach. Our first coach was Richard Dick. And then we had Mac Huff for a little while. And shortly thereafter, we decided on a guy named Don Claus. He was from Long Island, New York, so it wasn't real convenient, but he was a great coach. We also did individual voice lessons. We charted ourselves in everything that we did. We worked on our physical health and our nutrition, and I can remember I should tell you, we placed first. In our first contest in '73 was in Portland, and we ended up 24th. We thought we were gonna just kill them out there, and we stumbled pretty badly. But 24th for that year. The next year was Kansas City, and we were 9th in that contest. And the next year, we were in Indianapolis, we were first. There are 5 categories that they judge you on, and in Indianapolis, our first set out, we were first in all 5 categories. Second set out, we were first in 3 of the categories, and the last set, we were first in 4 categories. We did end up winning that contest by 183 points. The state president's score that we had there was not touched, or it was maintained for 10 years until someone upped it. I think that you would perhaps agree with me that our signature song was My Lady Loves to Dance. Bob Dama did the arrangement on that, and that's still being sung today by quartets and choruses. The quartet, the Happiness Emporium, had quite a run for other things too. I remember in '76, we were on the Grand Ole Opry on the Saturday night show, the first barbershop quartet to be asked to sing there. We also had a trip to Sweden. They invited us to sing in Stockholm. I can remember many times coming home late at night on Saturday night, flying home from a show in Ohio or Illinois or someplace, and get home late, maybe 5 o'clock on Sunday morning, and having to get up and to direct the church choir. One of the toughest performances that I've had to do was when my mom died, and we had a local show in Minneapolis. Not easy. We as a quartet, in going for the gold, the Happiness Emporium, I think we left no stone unturned. And I remember we had some fans of ours that would do anything, and they distributed some matchboxes that we had. They were yellow little matchboxes with the smile face on the front of it, and you'd open it up, and there were no matches inside, but it did say inside, "There's no match for the Happiness Emporium." So that was distributed. Had a lot of fun with things like that. I had developed a voice condition called spasmodic dysphonia, which I had to leave the quartet in 1983. So I had sung with them for 12 years and had a great time. but that condition remains with me today. My voice is starting to go down right now, so next month I have an appointment at Mayo, and it'll be my 25th appointment down there, because every 10, 11 months I need to get an injection of Botox. And it's a condition where the muscle around the vocal cord tightens up, and the Botox is injected into that muscle to relax the muscle so that the vocal cord can phonate properly. So it lasts for almost a year, so there's quite a cycle there. I've had 25 injections in that now. So in closing, I like to say that it's more than just the music. It's the great fellowship, the deep down camaraderie we can have, and that we do have with one another. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob.